Today at this seminar, we will begin with a simple meditation. This is in the tradition of a Taoist monastery to begin a Tao seminar with a simple meditation. Now we will start with the lion's roar. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, rotating your shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, rotating your shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Now raise your hand, blocking your nostril with your ring finger. Inhale, exhale. Block your other nostril. Inhale, exhale. We will start our Tao seminar with a brief meditation. Now, breathing in, letting your eyes open and allow the light to filter into you. Gazing at 4 feet away from you, the distance of a cow lying down, and look at the light and allow that light through your half-closed eyes filter into your brain, into your inner organ, and bathe the organs with this light. For some of you, please come to the front. There's some empty seats. For some of you, please come to the front. There's some empty seats. Pat. This is a protection, seal of protection mantra that protects you. At the end, you say Pat to disperse the darkness. Hum, 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 Pat. German, why don't you move to the other side, please? I'd like to welcome you all today to come to the Tao seminar. It is the first time we have done this for a long time. It's a seminar that's devoted on the third language. At the same time, this is streamed live, and I'd like to welcome my global students all over the world, to say to them welcome to join us in this seminar of the Tao. So what is language? Captain Cook was stranded in an island, and they saw this animal hopping, and Captain Cook asked the native, "What is this animal?" And the natives say, "Kangaroo." Huh? So from then on, they imagine that animal that hops is kangaroo. But actually later they find out the word kangaroo in the native Australian Aboriginal means "I don't know." So language can be misunderstood very easily. That the "I don't know" becomes the kangaroo. And therefore, you have to be very careful not to confuse kangaroo as the animal kangaroo, but actually in Aboriginal means "I don't know." Therefore, language is filled with traps and misunderstanding. And today, we will look at a third language of spatial temporal reality, of an exchange not with words, but exists in the realms of energy and movement. For it is a language that is impossible to understand from a common understanding of language. First, if you look at this, if you go to Lingji will now bring in the three different prototype of language. The first one is the one of a tadpole. This language of the tadpole is the language of common language, the cybernetic language of how are you doing, what's going on. And we speak by our thoughts and by our expression. But the tadpole are only interested in one thing. Is it food? Is it not food? This is part of the tadpole's language. It hasn't developed legs yet. So therefore, the tadpole is our common language of fear. It's based on, am I going to be food? Or are you food? That's all it concerns itself. Lingji, over there. Get that. That's it. Thank you. Bring it here. So, holding in this bowl, if you look at it, inside is a tadpole. And if I go around, you can see an image of the tadpole being reflected. Now I take it out, and you see this tadpole. So this is the first language, the language of the tadpole. The tadpole are only interested in food
or not food? Can I eat this or can I be eaten? That is the language of our temple of fear. It does not know anything else. It does not care about anything else. So this temple language is our daily life. We are driven by the sense of fear. Then the second language is the language of the polywalk. And in this bowl, there's a polywalk. As I go around and show to each of you, it's actually a holographic projection that you might not be able to see through the camera. But you can see, look at that. It's a projection of a polywalk. And a polywalk have a very different language. It has legs. It is in between water and earth. And it no longer just aware of food or not food. It starts to develop into more interested concept of development of land. And this is the language of the polywalk, and is a language of science, of measurement. The polywalk now begin to have a different concept. They can see trees. It can see the sky. And then the third one is the frog. Lingji already have take out the frog from the bowl. And the third language is a frog language, is a frog. But look at the frog's reality. The frog now is a full amphibian, filled with legs. And for the first time, the frog's language are quite different than the temple and the polywalks. They develop the language of mating. They start to go group, 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 calling for mates all over. Their construction and their language is filled with seeking a mate, where the temple and the polywalk are totally uninterested in that. Is there three different languages? Or is really of one species, but they are distinctively different? Similarly, in the Tao seminar, the third language, we start to develop beyond the fear base, beyond the calculation or measurement, and start to develop this temporal spatial reality. This is important. This is the seminar on the third language of the immortals. It is to able to understand the inner meaning of time, and that time is not what we understand as. It is a language not written in words. It is a language of the frog. It's written in movement, in energy, and is utterly different than the polywalk and the temple. So I have to speak to the sky gods and say, okay, let's have a little sun. But one of my students is so funny. So I create some sun, in the middle of an airport, gray as hell, just a circle. They say, oh, Pasifu, can you give me some rainbow? So this is the scientific language of physics, mathematics, mathematic and the measurement. It has no emotional investment, whether you like it or not like it. It's just numbers by machines.
It's based on measurement. They don't care. A car that running 65 miles an hour does not exhibit fear. The driver maybe, but the car has no fear. So this is the way of the Polywogs beginning to hold onto the firm ground of reality without the food or not food. But it's still, it's not a frog. By the way, a frog is the Taoist symbolism of metamorphosis. So what is the third language? Does the tadpole can know the third language? No. The tadpole is only worried about food, not food. The frog has one other thing. Say, darling, let's get together. The Polyglot don't have that. The Polyglot just say, oh, land. Okay? The frog is one other language. A tadpole don't have to a Polyglot. This is only a metaphor for the Taoist temporal language. So to give you a flavor of that, it is the language of the three languages. So we call this tadpole language. And everybody could read this. What's it called? Chi, right. Please do not speak French. Okay? Do not call Wigong or Qigong. Yeah? Okay? I hear, oh, you are a Qigong master. I say, that's look like a quiche. So today you learn the cybernetic language of Qi. But notice I do it this way so you can see, if Alicia could write out, that in Chinese and English, there's a fundamental missing quality in English, which is the pictorial imagery of the substance itself. If you look at here, it's Qi, and if you draw it long, it will be like a wispy, fermented air from the rice kernel. Now, write the English word Qi. And if you don't know the English word Qi, you could stare at it until the cow comes home, and you will not know the difference. You still don't know, because it's missing the imagery. And that's the power of Chinese language. But it's still the language based on psychology, experience, mental formations. And later I'll show you the limitation. This first language of tadpole, food, not food. But with the Chinese language, you could trace back to the origin of the ancient people who created the words. You have no idea how the Qi created, but we know that for the ancient Chinese or proto-Chinese, they look at Qi as rising, ephemeral, fermented gas from what? Grain. Probably those guys were making beer out of rice into rice wine, and they see this fume coming up, they go, oh. And they don't call it Qi, they call See, if you say Qi, doesn't sound like Qi. How about cat? Doesn't sound like a cat. If you say it Chinese, Emma will know how to say it. What does a cat sound like? Meow. Meow. That's what a cat sounds like. Right, Sue? Wow, yeah. Okay, so you could go to your favorite local Chinese restaurant and order in Chinese a favorite dish. picking up. Okay, so Chinese have double language. It has a sound like it, look like it, then mean like it, semantic. English language usually only have one. It's semantic language. And in that, it lost a lot of information. But it's still the first language. The second language is, of course, the language of, as I mentioned, upside down. Okay. Scientific. Yeah? So the second language is 32 degrees, which is a number. Number has no feeling, unless you are into numerology. You know where well, I'm not going to give up my dress. The dress, 33 is very special, right? 666, very special. But overall, 32 degree in temperature has neither fear or good or bad. It just is. It's scientific. And that is the language of the party form. What do you think the third language could be? The third language is again drawn by my daughter. And you can tell me what this means. You will earn a special package of Taoist M and M. Microcosm with macrocosm. And I think one of my students has the magic, right? Did you bring the magic? Anyone read this language? This book? Well, what does it say? Yeah. This language, actually, the owners that speak this language is an octopus. And it is an inkjet emitted from the tentacle. And it's drawn simultaneously. Two sides. This is the third language. And this actually say, I want some M&M. It's also, that's right, it's also the Ouroboros. So you do you like M&M? So. You like sourdough bread, right?
Smile.
You're correct. It's also Ouroboros. It's an ancient symbolism of time. A snake eating its past and turn it into the present, into the future. So this is a representation of the third language. It's not the third language. Now, as my student in Tai Chi and Qigong, you're lucky. You already are using the third language. The third language is a language of movement. And Ling Chi will demonstrate the first two words of the third language. So who want to earn another M&M except my student that I already told you about? You can't cheat too much. What does it say to you? This is the opening of the Tai Chi form, the Dragon Gate Tai Chi form. Also the opening of the Chan Village Tai Chi first set. What does it say to you? What they say is this. That the Tai Chi form is a book written in movement language. As much as when Bach writes his piece of music, there is a message to God. At the Bach, we have many Bach. We have Bach's son, Bach's sister, Bach's daughter, but that's Johann Sebastian Bach. And if you look at the history of Bach, he was writing his music to God. He was not writing for mortals. So what is the music? What's the movement? So first, this is inhaling 1, 2, let's do it together. Inhale 1, inhale. You exhale 3 times, exhale, exhale, exhale. This is the Kuan, the receptor. And now, in this singularity, what do you have? You have a single thing. That's what I call singularity. Singularity. And this is tracing that singularity Big Bang. Now it's light. Now it's light. And that's the beginning. Chen. Chen is a 3 inhalation. Quan is 3 inhalation. And then you set up this 2. Notice, they're not English. They're not Chinese. A Chinese person will tell you this is not Chinese. This is the 3rd language. This is a notation for the 3rd language. And the Tai Chi form is a grammar form of the 3rd language. Not just a martial art. There's not a move. If someone's going to choke you and you block them and bring their arm down. Okay. That might be, but that's not the case. Deeper is express the genesis of creation. And the whole Tai Chi form, from the beginning to end, represents the book of change. It's a moving book of change with the 64 hexagrams, especially the 8 trigram of the Chen. Now, what is the 3rd language? This is the 3rd language. This is the movement language. The 3rd language, temporal, spatial reality, says this about time. You have the present, you have the past, and you have the future. What's wrong with this? It's all jumbled up, right? We, with the temporal language of life, are caught in a linear of 1 line. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. And the line that you are caught in, just like you're caught in this fruit. Past, present, future. And you could never move. It's fixed, fixed, fixed. Like the stone that's placed in a Go game, you can't move that. Go is time. When you play Go, by the way, this is the only chess game you cannot move the pawn. And it's just a rule. White and black. Once you put it down, that's it. That's your caught in this. Now, the temporal language frees you. Remember, if language is reality, and you are caught in the temporal cybernetic language of past, present, future, it's very hopeless. Why? Because the past already happened, it can never change the past. The present is happening now, and you don't like it. And the future, you don't know. Haven't begun. It's a fearful life of the temporal life. The temporal reality actually says that time has 6 facets. One is the three times, past, present, future, but they are not like a rigid flute with fixed. It's more like an entangled tube. The past could go to the future could go to the past. And the present can affect the future by having the future bringing knowledge from the past to the present. An example will illustrate that. This is my personal example. 2010, 9 years ago. I went for a dental cleaning, and the dentist said, those lumps don't look like abscess. Go have an oral surgeon take a look at it. Boom, 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 we go there, and the oral surgeon say, oh, we took a biopsy, Mr. Han, I'm so sorry to say you have stage 2 cancer. And then hand me the file and say, you need to see an oncologist right away. I'm sitting in the chair, and I just collapsed. But I was able to practice with my consciousness to go to the future, to this room. And I saw a little girl. I said, how could I have a little girl? What's she doing? And I saw myself speaking to you and to the world. My cancer is cured. It's completely gone. And my life is changed. I saw that. At that same moment, without trying. This is not like, oh, imagine the future will be hunky-dory and a dark, handsome stranger will come to you from the crystal ball, the psychic, the tea leaves. That's wishful thinking. The temporal reality of able to see a glimpse of future, actually experiencing it, that has already occurred, is real. By having such knowledge, it calms me. It calms me. But I was a little pig-headed. I was a little arrogant. I said, wow, that's sad. I guess you incur yourself cancer by yourself. So the deduction is a little off. So I'm still was a tadpole. I can heal myself with my own healing. Just by alternative therapy of Qigong, Tai Chi, acupuncture, herbs. You know I'm herbalist. I can give myself herbs. Up to the wazoo, some secret formula, very effective. They are. All that are very effective, but my cancer is growing. So I said, what happened? So there's something still missing. Well, until my 3 daughters say, go see an oncologist. My youngest one, Singa say, I'm not going to come home if you don't see an oncologist. Check. So I say, oh, maybe I do need to see an oncologist, if not for myself, for my 3 daughters. See, in that I'm smarter than King Lear, through experience. I do listen to my daughters, all 3 of them. Shakespeare talked about hubris. I was hubris, arrogant. So I went and see the oncologist. Now, Dr. Michael Gaynor is an integrated oncologist. He was chief resident of the oncology unit at Columbia Presbyterian. So he's top-notch. And top-notch doctor is that they don't take insurance. So his first visit, I call up, $4,000. So, do you take insurance? No. So I said, well, okay, let's go. That's still cheap compared to my 3 daughters not coming home. So when I saw him, then he gave me another teaching from the temporal linguistic reality to say, He said, Mr. Han, I will not say that to most of my patients. First of all, this doctor is so wonderful. Ever go to a doctor's office, you sit down, and the doctor say, can I serve you some tea? You look at him and say, what reality is he living in? I said, sure. And he went out of the office, he didn't call the secretary, went out and get us two cups of really nice green tea. I said, that's interesting. For 4 grand, it's okay. You serve tea, it's alright. Then he said, I know that you're a Buddhist. So I want to say this to you. That what happened to you today with your cancer will help you because you are strong enough to cure your cancer. And that your progeny in the future might not be strong enough. Future, see? Work out. And that you have taken on the karma debt, the burden, because you could bear it. You could bear it. I have seen that in real life, in documentary. During the Nanking massacre, when the Japanese soldiers went nuts, they captured a whole bunch of women, and there was a mother with the young daughter. The daughter was 13. And she was begging the soldier to take her, not her daughter, because she could bear it. So I understand what we talk about. I say, that sounds very ennobling. I'm so. Before I say, oh, oncologists, what could they do? Then I cross over. Because he talked about the future. And again, it's happening. Because what I have done, when I could go to other countries and teach the healing cancer, they were able to relieve for such suffering. And who knows, my great-great-grandchildren, he said, oh, I'm practicing Qigong, great-grandfather, and you know what, my cancer went away. Fascinating. So the time has 6 facets of time, and we are not stuck in this line. We are not stuck in this line. It's not rigid. You are only stuck in your mind. And once you free that tadpole cybernetic reality, then you can rise above the flatland to another dimension. A flatland will be like a little person stuck there. If you imagine that someone's living on a piece of paper, let's draw a little figure. Okay, in the box and a little figure inside the house. This is the house. This is 27th Street, 112 West, 4th floor. Okay. And notice that he's very happy. But suddenly, a 3-dimensional being appeared. Okay? Like a flute. Okay? Go like this. And what does a flatland person see? You only see a little circle. All I see of this shakuhachi is a circle. It cannot see anything else. But we can see from here everything. But he can. She cannot see that. So the third language, as if it possesses another dimension of time, and that's an intercession of time. So here's a 6 facet of time. Why is it 6 faceted? Any answer? One Mike M&M. Why the 6 facet of time? Ah, you want the M&M. Good. So Ming-Ju will get that in mind. Then, because there's 6 facets in a cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A dice has 6 numbers and represents 6 lines of the book of change. That's why the hexagram has 6 lines. And then each hexagram possesses 6 facets of past, future, bottle state, future, present. So the six facets of time, one of that is saying time is not real. No past, no present, no future. It's only your tadpole mind imposed on it. Once you grow legs, you suddenly can do what Dr. Gaynor and I could do, spontaneously. That's the language of the immortal. That you can go travel to the future with your consciousness. In other words, the future already happened. So that facet of time, past, present, future, is called instantaneous, simultaneous occurring. One. But it's not fortune telling, by the way, because the second facet of time is it is dynamic. What do you mean by dynamic? Is it is constantly changing as well. That the past is changing, the present is changing, you know that, and the future is not fixed. This is called quantum programming. We're still locked in the 0, 1, off and on. Once you go quantum, there may be infinite possibility. That's the next level of computer programming. Imagine writing such language. So this is what is called quantum entanglement. Now this is physics, I'm telling you the same thing. When you have two particles from the distance of Jupiter and Earth, and if one particle turns instantaneously, without anything, the other particle turns. That means time don't exist. So that's an instantaneous aspect of time. In other words, you must know the time that you are educated, past, present, future, is a delusion. Matter of fact, it's an obstacle that prevents you from having the freedom to break through. All this PTSD is due to that sense of, oh, I've done that terrible thing, and I could never undo it. Wrong. You can't. You absolutely can. And you could go to the future, take information, and take this. So another aspect of the quantum entanglement is called the simultaneous multi-manifestation. This one, you have to go to the Indian mythology of the simultaneity of manifestation of Krishna, who manifests in a single life 1,000 Krishna, and all male fantasy, make love to all the milkmaids simultaneously. Is he being unfaithful? No, he is one-to-one. He's not like one here, like one there, and one there. But it is simultaneously occurring that he's being faithful. It's happening right now, isn't it? I'm talking to you and I'm talking to all those people. Hello. From Aloha, from Romania, from Toronto. Hi, Billy. Simultaneity. We are achieving that from the cybernetic. And more, as we move into the arena of such understanding and cultivation, but the most important cultivation, time has a taste, has a quality, has organic juice to it. And especially the time of the moon. We live in a world like a tadpole. Oh, yesterday, tomorrow, today, and if time is this homogeneous flow. But oh, imagine, last Tuesday, 7 degrees. That time sucks. But how come you don't know that? It's like, oh, is a freak Siberian Arctic vortex. Not true. That particular time, that day, is the day of deep frost. If you check the Chinese calendar, it's at the end of the lunar cycle. So time has a taste, has a power, and has an organic nature to it. And you can master that time. And look, it's sunny. Proof is in the pudding. It's not only once. I was in a very rainy, cloudy day in Siberia, and we got knocked out. I have like 30 students. We're outside standing in Siberia. It's kind of cold, yeah. So I say, that's okay. Let the sun come out. The sun came out. I say, that's okay. Let's practice outside. And my students say, well, you really shouldn't do that in Russia. I say, that's okay. We'll be fine. We do Qigong. First time ever on the street. It's a very peaceful way of tasting the beautiful sunlight of the time. So, in a sense, the master of the third language will be similar to something I love, the science fiction, a Time Lord. For goodness, for the first time, there's a woman Time Lord. Deliberated. The mastery of time. What better to master the time than working with the lunar cycle? And we do have a star map. We call the lunar map of time. This is a gift by the Jew sister, Sulaim and Sulaim's gift from the both of you. From the Bayuan Waika Monastery in Beijing. So, that's kind of there. This is from a rock carving, approximately 1,000 years old. Of course, the rock carving no longer exists. They make a copy of it more recent. This, as itself, is from the Imperial Library that the Emperor Guangxi gave to the White Cloud Monastery as a gift. And they make a rock rubbing. This is the original rock rubbing. So you feel the energy. You feel the energy. So if you look at this, I'm getting my laser pointer. My laser saber. But that's not quite. That's my chopstick. Oh.
Knife.
Good. This is all rehearsed. This is called Taoist comedy. When you look for laser, you put with the chopsticks and the. All right. Any case, so all this just for this little pointer. And the people live streaming will hear this. Sorry about that. Okay? All right. So, look at this here. This is the cycle of the moon. Now, I'll teach you the Chinese time, moon time takes. Do the Tai Chi form. Inhale one. Inhale second. Inhale third. Full moon. Each breath is 5 days. 15 days from the very bottom of the new moon to the full moon. By the way, you have to do a negative rendition of it because the new moon is white because it's a rock carving. Okay, that means empty. The full moon is black. That means you have a full carving there. So you have to flip it around. Don't say, oh, the new moon, full moon is here because it looks white. That's our rendition. Yeah, this is a rock carving. If you flip it around, it would be that way. So it's very interesting. I noticed some people who learn from a book, they misunderstood the large intestine meridian is over here. Because in the book they will see the diagram, large intestine comes around here. But the truth is, you go to see the other side, they see the full figure, it comes around here. So this is the new moon. Inhale, inhale, 5 day, inhale, 5 day, inhale, 3rd day. So this is called the 3 Chi. Exhale, 5 days, exhale 5 days, exhale 5 days. This is the cycle. This is the cycle. And each one is corresponding. You see something called a trigram. Now, trigram is English. In Chinese, those lines, I bet even Zuling and Zuling don't know what those lines called. What's a line called in Chinese? Huh? No, this is Hua. What's the single line? Huh? Not Yao. Okay. This sounds so foreign. I might as well be an alien. Even for Chinese, it's not called Yao. 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 Okay? Yao. Say it together. Let's try together. Now you know how to say a line in Yi Jing in its original language. Now. Congratulations. You have just spoken your first Neanderthal. All European, also Chinese, have 5% genetic material of the Neanderthal. Because we are loving race, we see a beautiful Neanderthal woman, say, oh honey, but actually the other way around. Imagine a Neanderthal woman, the husband's hairy, brown eyebrow, you see this really hunky, smooth skinned man with the blonde hair, say, oh, Huey, come on over. and he'll say, okay. And then start learning, and we acquire the genetic. By the way, 5% is not right. It's 100% of Neanderthal in the gene pool. The first one is hybrid, 50-50. Like my daughter, 50% Chinese and 50% European. 50%. And then the children. But the gene pool maintained that 100% because her sister get the other 50%. So we, in fact, are the conserver, the preserver of the Neanderthal. And the Chinese, of course, we have much more old genes, right? We have the Neanderthal with the Tasmanian, and we also have the Peking man, woman. 3 Chinese. So therefore, my hypothesis is that the Yi Jing, the trigram, are not Chinese, not even Homo sapien. They are from the pre-glacial ice age of the Neanderthal or other older people. That when the ancestors go mix, having a mixer, a punch bowl, it's just like, okay, wow, darling. So let's learn the Neanderthal together. Not Yao. Yao is Mandarin. So I asked my teacher, that sounds so ugly. He said, that's because it's not even human. Now you possess the non-human. And you again, once again, very fortunate, because the legend, the myth of the founder of the Book of Change, his name is Fu Xi. Say it together. Fu Xi. Again, not Chinese. He's a hybrid. He has bumps on his head, and he wears clothes made of leaves. And he found this. So this is not Chinese. Those hexagram now. Yeah, that's Neanderthal. Yeah? What scientists can say that before the genetic? Which scientist would dare to say, oh my goodness, we have Neanderthal? Imagine that the South will have a great time to have a great time what? Laughing at you when they're the monkey tribe, when they are debunking the whole Darwinism, and then they say, oh, matter of fact, you are not completely human. Thank God we are not, because 90% of our immune system fighting against bacteria and viral are from the Neanderthal. That's why Africans with a pure genetic run into a lot more trouble. Malaria, sickle cell, and Ebola, because they don't have as strong as an immune system. That's why even in Ebola, when a European doctor gets it, he or she can recover. But with African, it's almost fatal. Almost fatal because of that. So what are the stuff that you get from the Neanderthal? Time travel, temporal reality. So this whole system is from the other side. And that each of the time has a most delicious functioning. We know that the moon affects high tide and low tide. Have you decided to go to Costa Rica kayaking? Don't go on full moon, you die. Because the high tide will sweep you up. There's coral like razor blade. And one of my daughter went to Puerto Rico and get fight by those sea urchins, like 50 of them. So, but you know, the modern day say, oh, I'm going to Costa Rica, the airplane ticket is cheap. It's full moon, don't go. Oh no, there's a reason why it's cheap. Also, in Costa Rica, the plane is not that safe, okay? And they go and then, because of the high tide, the current. In the cultivation of Taoist practice here, which all those in classical Chinese, and I do read them, they do tell a little bit more of the secret. It says, what are the most auspicious times to practice? And you bring that with you. The third day of the new moon is down here. That is the trigram thunder, jump, the 8th day of the new moon. And then the 16th day of the full moon. So after the full moon, 1 day. Full moon itself is too strong. Now. Yeah, that's Neanderthal. Yeah? What scientists can say that before the genetic? Which scientist would dare to say, oh my goodness, we have Neanderthal? Imagine that the South will have a great time to have a great time what? Laughing at you when they're the monkey tribe, when they are debunking the whole Darwinism, and then they say, oh, matter of fact, you are not completely human. Thank God we are not, because 90% of our immune system fighting against bacteria and viral are from the Neanderthal. That's why Africans with a pure genetic run into a lot more trouble. Malaria, sickle cell, and Ebola, because they don't have as strong as an immune system. That's why even in Ebola, when a European doctor get it, he or she can recover. But with African, it's almost fatal. Almost fatal because of that. So what are the stuff that you get from the Neanderthal? Time travel. Temporal reality. So this whole system is from the other side. And that each of the time has a most delicious functioning. We know that the moon affects high tide, low tide. Have you decided to go to Costa Rica kayaking? Don't go on full moon. You die. Because the high tide will sweep you up. There's coral like razor blade. And one of my daughter went to Puerto Rico and get, by those sea urchins, like 50 of them. So, but the modern day say, oh, I'm going to Costa Rica. The airplane ticket is cheap. It's full moon. It's full moon. Don't go. Don't go. Oh no! There's a reason why it's cheap. Also, in Costa Rica, the plane is not that safe. Okay. And they go and then, because of the high tide, the current. In the cultivation of Taoist practice here, which all those in classical Chinese, and I do read them, they do tell a little bit more of the secret. It says what are the most auspicious times to practice. You could bring that with you. The third day of the new moon is down here. That is the trigram thunder, jump. The 8th day of the new moon. And then the 16th day of the full moon. So after the full moon, 1 day. Full moon itself is too strong. 3, 8, 16. Carry that with you. Those are the time is most auspicious that you gather most of the energy. Now, we will do one other. This is, thank you. Alicia, take that. Ling Ji is going to demonstrate a movement. In the Tai Chi Chuan, first the original Tai Chi Chuan, according to the legend, is discovered by this Taoist immortal Zhang San Feng, Mr. Zhang of 3 Peaks. Now, why would a Taoist immortal care about fighting or going to MMA? They don't. It's a cultivation of alchemy. It's also the way of teaching the student this third language. So if you imagine up above is the Qian, down below is the Quan. Then the east and west, the west, imagine this is the west, is the, what trigram is the west? The west is in the position, is the trigram. East is the Li, and the west is the trigram of the moon. So heaven, earth, sunrise on the east, moon to the right, west. And they go crosses like that. In the language of Tai Chi, there is a movement that represents this one of this trigram. And let's guess. Zai. Facing the west. What trigram is that? Larissa? Okay. Look at this hand. You could turn around, they can see it better. So yang in the middle, yin, yin on the bottom. And in the form, she is facing what? West. Now, so why? Then the next movement, it shows a secret. Go ahead. What does that mean? And if you tell me that someone is grabbing your hand, you're brushing them off, I'm going to hit you. Because Master Jiang Sanfeng don't care about that. Why would you practice 1,000 times how to take someone's hand off? What is this? What? Try to understand. German? The lead. Okay? But see, here some students say, but Sifu, it does not look like lead. Why not? Turn it around. All of a sudden, it's lead. Yang, 2 hands on the side, and the center is empty. Now, so this is the most important aspect of Tai Chi. Remember, this is called Tai Chi. So you practice Tai Chi all the time. You know, this is called Tai Chi. It composed of yin yang. But notice, it is functioning within the sun and the moon. The 2 eyes of the sun and the moon. It's through that you cultivate. Life is this in-between line between the sun and the moon, and the sun is on the east, the moon is on the west. And in the form, you're taking this middle line. Of the can. Now you all try to hold your hands together. And this is our start Zai. And just for the global community, there's another variation of Jai, which is this one. But it's still the same. We just, in our Dragon Gate style, it's a half fist. In the other style, it's press, this way. It's still the same. Yang on the middle, yin, yin. Now you notice that you're taking this middle line and you dissolve it. This is the alchemical stone, the golden crystal. And you dissolve it from the mist of the water, of the lunar water, come, you have the fire. And that turns into the sun, fire, into the leaf. Now notice when we do the leaf here, all of a sudden, oh, I'm in the wrong direction. Yeah, I should be on the west, on the east. Now you turn. Because you go back. It calls you to you. Just like Emma who called back to Jonathan and he would turn around. Magic that. And then you go to the next one. The next one is called Dan Bi. And let me just throw it as an extra bonus. It is not called single whip. Taoist master is not interested in whipping someone. It is Dan, elixir, being transformed into elixir. It is the I Ching hexagram, the cauldron. Check. Out of that cauldron, that's when you cook the inner essence of the what? The Jing from the moon, the essence from the moon, and the fire from the sun. And you cook it within your what? Cauldron of elixir field, Dan Tian. And the next movement, into the next one. So when you do I Ching, when you do Tai Chi, you are practicing the language of the temporal movement. That time has 6 qualities: simultaneity, organic taste, and infinite dynamic change. Do not get locked by time. And when you practice the Tai Chi form, this is a grammar book to teach you about the Tao's alchemical cultivation. That the ancient immortal from the book of immortality absorbed the Jing from the lunar essence, the fire Shen from the sun, combine them together. It is through that force that causes a transformation of your own inner transformation from Temporal to polywalk, and maybe you reach Fraku. And then you could grow. In order to create your immortal child. It is possible. Yeah, as my teacher say, Master Namwaigan, he say, in the cultivation of Tao, it is as numerous as the hair on an oxen. In its accomplishment of the Tao, is as rare as its 2 horns, 1 in a billion. And I happened to meet one who spoken of the 3rd language, so we have begun. So let's all practice this transformation of the taste of time. 3, 8, 15, or 16. Yeah, 3, 8, 16. So, Kan, and from the single yang, it dissolves. See, I taught you the first meander into a leaf. So the yang is on either side, the softness is in the inside. And then you say, oh, I'm facing the wrong direction. I should go to the east. You turn. Makes sense to you, isn't it? And I could guarantee you for some Tai Chi practitioner, they have practiced for 50 years and say, this is just the way that. But you ask them why. They don't even think. Because Master taught me this, how I do. Perhaps we are not frogs, we are more like monkeys. Never accept what is there. You must understand that Tai Chi Chuan has a grammar, has a history, but you don't have the language for it. You need to learn the 3rd language in order to free yourself of time, of this past, present, future. And everyone stand up. Do our condition. From the Tamwa Ji book, the secret of the golden flower, thumb, middle finger, 5th finger, gathering the light into your heart. And then let the 2 light divert. The white light emerge upward, the red light emerge down. And then change. Inhale, breathe in, bring the golden flower into your heart. Extend. Taking a drop of your essence, offer to heaven, Tian. And take a drop of essence, offer to the deep. And then to all sentient beings. We have a 10-minute extra time. Do we have extra time for question and answer? This is okay, so if you could sit down. This is the question and answer period. For the live stream, we're going to extend it a little bit more, or you could just drop out. It's okay. But I say in our seminar there is a question and answer. So if you have questions, if you're written down, you can submit it to Alicia. She will collect it. And I will attempt to answer as much as I can in 10 minutes. Good. So anyone have any questions? Do you have any questions? Okay. So just submit it to Alicia.
Or do you need it written down?
I need it written down.
Okay.
And there is a kind of protocol in the Taoist tradition. We don't answer follow-up questions. One question. That's why you write down your question. So the mic is here, so listen to stand very close to me, so the live stream audience could hear. Read it out.
Explain the use of pre-heaven for the form.
Okay?
Explain the use of pre-heaven for the form.
So first of all, there's a few things that's kind of technical language. In the Chinese Book of Change, there is a series called the pre-heaven, Xinting. And pre-heaven simply means it's the embryological. It's before you were born. Before you were born, where were you? In your mom's tummy. That's called what the pre-heaven. And basically it's upside down. Your head goes down because you're ready to emerge, and your feet's up. Okay. So the pre-heaven series up there, you have the up is a chair, below is the quan. As we just done. The moon is on the west, the sun is on the east. And you always face south. So we just look at the 4 coordinates. So in the form, exactly what we've done. We inhale, filling up our 3 yang line, and you have to create it. We exhale, exhaling to the earth, the 3 lines. So the very beginning is from this series, this embryological sequence of energy. And then the east here, east is here, is the Li, here. And the west is the Kan, the abysmal. And again, in the form, not only does the prenatal explain the use of the form, the very shape of the form itself. This is the Kan. Kan is one line, one ring of energy. The rest is yin. Why do you think in Tai Chi you do this? Really to attack someone with the back of your head? Or also, in the meridian, this is the heart meridian. This is the heart governing meridian. And you are using that to energize the heart governing as a center line. This is the goal. This is the essence. This is the fire within the abysmal. In the water, and water is a kidney. So you're taking the energy from the kidney and dissolving it into the hot fire. So again, this movement here is a description and expression of the energy signature of the Li. And together, water above, fire below is 63 hexagram completion. It's very simple. Today, you go boil a pot of water, make tea, and you experience completion. When I first started teaching, I was a very demanding teacher. Before I accept a private student, they had to practice 7 days of making tea and observing the bubble of the tea. They had to buy a clear pot, so they boil. I say, when the bubble is at the size of a shrimp whisker, that's the right amount for green tea. For pour, the bubble has to be the size of a cock's eye. And when the bubble becomes a quarter big, you flunk. They do 7 days before I accept them. Of course, a few students pass through. They love that exercise. More. I say, that's just a passage. So therefore, the concept of alchemy is cooking. It's transformation through the sun's fire. Without the sun's fire, there's no life. Without the fire, it cannot boil the water and it puts energy, and then you drink the tea. Therefore, when you drink a tea, you're drinking the fire of the Li through the water as a medium. Because you can't inhale fire. Can you do that? No, you have to go through the tea. So that Tai Chi is constantly working with this. And this line, east and west, is this. This is the Tai Chi symbol. This is east and west. And every time when you do Tai Chi, you start from one nuclei, and then when you reach the end of the chapter, you reach the other nuclei, east and west. East and west is life. It's your lifeline. Sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset. And in Chinese, Dong is east. Sai is west. And in Chinese means object. It's very simple. Dong Sai. Say, oh, Shuling, buy me some Dong Sai from Chinatown. And she said, see you what? I want some char siu bao. So constantly, so the book of change and the prenatal are expressed by the movement of the Tai Chi form. And I just gave you one fundamental example that most practitioners haven't even think of, but it makes so much sense. Just like plate titanium. It was discovered in 1970s, not 1980, not 60, 70, but it's so obvious. They fit like a jigsaw puzzle. Similarly, the third language fits. Okay. Second. Very good question, by the way.
These are the same. So, please give us all 6 aspects of time.
Past, present, future. Instantaneous, simultaneous, and infinite change. That's the 6th aspect. Therefore, past can change into future. Future can change into present. And present can change into the past. You're not fixed. Suddenly, you are not stuck in that line. You could bend it around. You turn it around. And by the way, no such thing exists. No past, no present, no future. It's an artifact of the language, especially English language, because you need to speak English language like this. Imagine you have a language that conjugates like a circle. H, A, you have partner. comes together. And I have a teacher who could write with both hands. Really cool. He could write sentence, meeting at the middle. I try to do that, have fun. Okay? I give Emma, Jonathan, and it comes together. So that is the way of freeing. So practice the Tai Chi form. The Tai Chi form is not a language. The Tai Chi form is not fear. The Tai Chi form is movement. And this is the way of freedom through movement. There's a name for it, Kiniyama. The path of liberation through movement. Okay, so all any questions answered? So I'll give you a seventh one. This one is a secret. I just feel like giving it. So time, by the way, when I was master, don't take what they say as the final. See, Westerners tend to be very kind of believing. So when I master say, that's 6 character. And then you say, oh, there's only 6. But you forget to ask him, Master, is there any more? He said, oh, I'm glad you asked. There's more. This is 7 one. The 7 aspect of time. See, you don't know, you trap within your boundary of believing authority. When you say, oh, suddenly there's 6. I didn't say there's only 6. Did I say there's only 6? I said there's 6 effects of time, right? I didn't say there's only. You put the only in. You put your little trap in. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. There's a 7 characteristic of time. Harmony. There's a music harmonic quality of unique time, unique day, unique lunar time. And you get the right frequency with that time, magics happen. So that's the 7th one. And you can ask me that. Yes, that is not the end. And therefore, I will tell you my favorite teacher from my teacher, Master Gu. One day, he chewed dumpling and said, 7. Chewed dumpling, right? He probably wanted the last one. So he asked me this one. I was about to reach. He said, do you know what you don't know that I know? I go, what? Of course I don't know what I don't know. That's right. Now you know that I know what you don't know. And he told me a lot. So you never know what you don't know. And you base on what you don't know as knowledge, that's ignorance. Just like I illustrated that trap, why do you think there's only 6? There's a 7th one. And yes, there's an 8th one. I'm not ready to tell the 8th one yet.
During demonstration of the first moves of the Tai Chi form, you mentioned singularity. What does it mean?
Singularity is the scientific explanation of the beginning of the world. Where all the world right now is going through a process getting sucked into a black hole. And after a trillion years, every single particle will not escape from this black hole. By the way, there's a black core at the center of the universe is turning everything. It's a centrifuge, and it's sucking everything in. Of course, don't worry too much about it unless you're Time Lord. Then you have to worry a little bit about that. So, singularity, when everything's sucked into a black hole and nothing else exists, not even light. But in the black hole, it's brilliant. And then all of a sudden, there's a spot. I think it's spontaneous, or the physicists doesn't know. They haven't able to create a black hole. If they do, it will be very bad for the Earth. It will last 2 seconds. Oh, sorry. But suddenly, you have this singularity, means this entity, that's no other thing. And all of a sudden, it breaks into positive energy, negative energy. Positive space, negative space. Light and dark, polarity, positive, negative. So that is one of the explanations of singularity. Okay, we're done. Thank you. And